for the rest, as for today, we have discussed multiplying and adding and subtracting with decimals. I'm going to put my handy dandy overhead camera on again. So if you can put it in speaker view, and that way you can see my overhead camera here. Okay, I'm going to continue on with division today. We're going to start off with some division. I will put a couple questions more of multiplication just for practice when I assign your Khan Academy. But we want to remember that when you add and subtract decimals, you line up the decimals. So when you add and subtract decimals, you line up the decimals. That's the most important thing. So, and then when you multiply decimals, you have to count how many place values are behind the decimals. And today we are going to kick off with a little bit of division. And I know it's been a while and you might be thinking, oh dear, I forgot how to divide. And division is just backwards multiplication. So if you say how many times is 2 go into 8, it goes 4 times because 4 times 2 is 8. All right. So we're going to start off with some simple division and then we'll work up through some more complex division throughout the week. And then we'll eventually divide with decimals. But I want to start off with a single digits into a double digit, such as so. Okay, 4 into 96, just to help refresh your memories from last year. And what you want to look at is how many times 4 can fit into each place value. So my outer place value, a single digit, I'm just going to look at one digit at a time and say how many times can 4 go into 9? Well, I know that 4 times 2 is 8, and that's as close as I can get to 9 without going lined paper and turn it sideways, so to make sure that you line up all your digits. That is very important when you're dividing. That's where a lot of kids make a mistake. They just get their numbers off and they out of line, and it becomes very, very hard to read, and then that's where mistakes happen. All right, so on your whiteboards, if you grab your whiteboards and your pens, please, or whiteboards and markers, please. I'm going to start off with a few division problems. And we'll start with, I'm going to go with a little bit, start with a small number and then we'll work up to larger numbers. Okay? How about 963 divided by 3. Start simple and we'll work up to more difficult problems. Okay, go ahead and do this one on your whiteboard. A single digit into a triple digit. And I'll leave my example here for you to see in case you need a refresher. And give you about 90 seconds or so to solve that problem on your whiteboards. Remember, hold up your whiteboards, the back side of your whiteboards when you have an answer so I can know how many people are finished. All right, I'm seeing some whiteboards. This is good. Go ahead, show me your whiteboards, and on the count of 3. Some of you are just now grabbing your whiteboards. Yep, stay with me, folks. Got to do your very best. 1, 2, 3, show me what you got. I see answers. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yes, I see lots of correct answers. 321, 321 is the final answer. I'll go over that with you real quick just to make sure that you remember that 3 times 3, see 3 times 3, here's that special little multiplication sign there. 3 times 3 is 9, and there's no remainder. So you bring down the 6, and now 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. You subtract, no remainders there, bring down the next digit, and finally you have 3 goes into 3 1 time total. And there are no remainders on this one. No remainders. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple more so that we get good and refreshed on division. All right, let's go 6 into 2,430. All right, there you go. All right, it's 6 into 2,430. All right, on the count of 3, I'm seeing a few whiteboards already. And I'm seeing a whole lot of people not, oh yeah, okay, you're doing it, just focus. All right, on the count of 3, I wanna see 1, 2, 3, show me. Show me what you got. Aha. Ooh, very, very important. I did this one on purpose. All right, very good. You should have 3 digits in your answer. I did this on purpose because you need 3 digits in your answer. Oh dear, yes, okay. Placeholders are very important. All right, you can put your whiteboards down. I'm seeing what I suspected. Let's go 6 into 2. It doesn't happen. 6 cannot go into 2. I actually encourage students to put a placeholder there above the 2 so that you have as many answers in your division problem as you do inside the division bracket. So if you have nothing here, then I'm looking at 6 into 24. 6 into 24, and that goes 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. And when you subtract, you have nothing left over. Okay, if you bring down the 3 and you ask, next question, next place value, how many times does 6 go into 3? It cannot. 6 is too big for 3. You must have that 0 above the 3. And this is where I say, you know, a lot of people get confused or forget to have as many digits on top as you do inside the division bar. So a 0 needs to go on top of the 3 for a placeholder. And 0 times 6 is 0. And when you subtract, you still have 3 that you need to use. And when you bring down the last 0, then you can ask how many times does 6 go into 30? Okay, 6 does go into 30 5 times. Now the 5 has to go above the 0. So it's very important that you line up these place values. The 4 has to go above the 4. The 0 placeholder has to go above the 3 so that the 5 can go above the 0. Your final answer should be 405. 405. All right, place value holders. Those are very important. Without them, your number changes completely. You only have 45 instead of 405. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. All right, stay with me, folks. Keep those whiteboards handy. We're going to do a few more today before we get going with your practice lesson today. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go 8. I'm going to do another one very similar to this one, so I'll leave the example. 8 into 6,432. All right, go for that one. 8 into 6,432. That's your next problem. All right. Okay. I'm seeing more whiteboards this time. Maybe that helped refresh your memory. Give you a little update there. Okay, more, like I said, when you're done with the division problem, hold up your back side of your whiteboard so I can see you. See that you're ready to move on. Jacob Hernandez, you working hard or are you hardly working? You got a whiteboard with you? Thank you. Now he's going to get his whiteboard. Nice. Okay. All right. Emily Santos, you doing all right? I know, you're working hard. I see your pen working. Thank you. Okay, show me your answers on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, show me. Aha, yes. Oh, that's so much better. Very, very good. So much better. Fantastic. Oh, I'm seeing so many more placeholders. Very, very good. All right, we'll go over the answers in case you're still a little bit stumped. You have 8 into 6. 8 is bigger than 6, so it won't fit. It does not divide by 6. You have to look at 64 altogether here. 8 times 8 is 64. The 8 goes above the 4. Okay, 8 times 8 is 64. When you subtract, you have no leftovers, but you still have to bring down the 3. That's the next digit. How many times is 8 divide into 3? It can't, because 8 is bigger than 3 as well. There's that placeholder we were talking about. And if you have nothing times 8, you got a big fat nothing, leaves you 3, bring down the next place value, bring down the 2. Now, how many times is 8 going to 32? 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. You will have no remainders. No remainders. All right, now that you have hopefully refreshed your memories a little bit about division. We're going to move on to a couple more small-ish type problems where we have 2 digits into a smaller 2-digit number. And there's a little bit of an art behind this. And so a problem such as this, 12 into 90. So in other words, how many times is 90 divide by 12? And now we're going to have some remainders. Okay, so we'll start small with a small double digits. And then again, we'll just kind of work up throughout the week. But if you have double digits, there's an art behind it, because I'm looking at 12 and I say, hey, 12 doesn't go into 90. Well, it does, but I don't know how many times. So you probably want to think 12 is really close to what number? Say if 12 is really close to 10, I'm going to kind of estimate over here on the side. 12 is close to 10, and 90, well, 90 can divide by 10 a lot easier than 12 into 90. So if 10 goes into 90 exactly 9 times, 9 times 10 is 90. I'm going to try 9 over here first. I know 12 doesn't go into 9, so I'm going to leave that place value. I'm going to put my 0 there just to hold the place value. But the 9 times 12, and if you know 9 times 12, you should have probably, oh, it's a, sorry, 9 times 12 is very large. Let's see, 9 times 12 is brain freeze. 108, 108, 108. 108's too big for 90. 108's too big for 90. So I'm just going to go one smaller, one smaller than 9. I'm going to go for 8. 8 times 12. Okay. And if you have 8 times 12, you're going to have 96. And this is where that art form comes in. Sometimes you have trial and error. 96 is still too big. You can't subtract 96 from 90 because it's too large. So last time I tried, 7. 7 times 12 is 84. Now I have 84. If you can subtract 90 minus 84, you'll have 6 left over. So a remainder of 6, because you have no more place values after that. So you're just going to leave your remainder of 6. Oh, my brain, it's a Monday. All right, let's do a couple of double-digit problems with a little small remainder. Okay, I'm going to go, how about 13 into 108. Okay, 13 into 108. 13 into 108. Okay, try that one on your whiteboards first. All right, this is where that trial and error comes in. Maybe you don't have your 13s memorized, but if you look, you know 13 does not go into 1. You got nothing there that you have to put above the 1. 13 also doesn't go into 10. So again, I do placeholders just when I'm starting off with with division. I put placeholders above each one of these place values just to make sure you have your numbers in the right place. Okay, and then 13 into 108, all 3 of these digits. And I just started guessing something that was pretty close. I had figured out that 13 times 8 is 104. 13 times 8 is 104. Then you subtract, and you have a leftover, a remainder of 4. Remainder of 4. If you got that one, let me see your hands. I just want you to do the little happy dance there with your hands. Give us yourself a round of a, yes, thank you. Colin, you're cracking me up, kid. Yes, congratulations on that one. There are so many different types of division problems, but these 2 are the 2 that I'm going to give you today, the single division and single digit and double digit. I'm going to give you one more to try. Let's go with 225 divided by 25. Here it is. Okay, one more. 225 divided by 25. All righty. Now, 25 is one of those really compatible numbers, because if you think about quarters, you could multiply by 25s should be able to multiply by 25s fairly easily. You have 25 cents, you have 2 quarters, 50, 3 quarters, 75, 4 quarters, $1 or 100 cents. And I'm looking here going, hey, wait a minute, this ends in a 25. So if you keep going with 5 quarters, it's 125 cents, 6 quarters, 150, 7 quarters, 8 quarters, 8 quarters, that's 200 cents. If I have 9 quarters, I'm going to have exactly 225 cents, and that leaves you no remainders. So if you got that one, let me see your happy dance in the camera. Go for it. 9, did you get an answer? 9? Ooh, a lot more people doing a happy dance this time. Okay, Tristan, that's pretty, at least you tried the happy dance. Oh, that was cracking me up. All right, I am going to assign 2 different kinds of Khan Academy today. There's going to be 2 lessons. One's going to be with single digits, and one's going to be just the smaller double digits with remainders, just to refresh your 5th grade memories, okay? Teachers, were we able to get folks into MobyMax for those math facts? Yes, Mr. Mullen is nodding yes to me. I think Miss Digby said she got hers in. Mr. Hartman, I think, got his in.
Yep, mine are in, ready to go.
Ready to go. Sweet. Okay. After last week's math fact chart fiasco, I've decided that we should do math facts on MobyMax. That's something that all of the teachers have used in the past. for math facts. We think it is very, very beneficial to your math facts. So we are going to try something today. Yay, a new website. I'm going to have you guys right now, before you start Khan Academy, since you're all familiar with how to get on Khan Academy, we want to get you on MobyMax. Okay? Because I want you practicing your math facts. And let's have you go to MobyMax.com, I believe. I'm looking it up right now. Yes, MobyMax.com. I'm looking for. All right, I'm gonna chat just a minute. All right, go to MobyMax.com. Okay, when it asks for your username is your first name. Okay, capitalize, of course. Okay, your password is your student ID number.
Okay, Miss Bragg.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everyone who is in this room right now, make sure that you are paying attention and you are looking at the chat. You are not typing in the chat, you are looking in the chat. This ID information, we are not going to answer 3,586 separate questions about what the login information for MobyMax is. So do yourself a favor, take a look at the chat, and Mrs. Bragg is right now typing in the login information for MobyMax. Okay, so everybody make sure that you're tuned in and you are paying attention.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for reiterating that. That is huge. So every single person.
Hang on a second,
Right.
Mr. Mullen, you gotta, there you go.
Yeah, there's one other thing is that if you use your name as your username and it doesn't work, you need to add your last initial and try that as well. I have like 4 that are like that in my class.
Okay.
Because they were on another list.
Yeah. All right. So every single person's going to go to MobyMax. You can minimize the Zoom for a moment so you can get on MobyMax. Your username is your first name. Your password is your student ID number. Okay, I saw 2 people that are just coming back from the restroom. So I'm going to repeat it one more time and hope that this works. All right, MobyMax.com. Your username is your first name. Your password is your student ID number. And I've opened the chat in case you have questions at this time. And it better not be, what's my username and password?
That's weird. I have some students who are shared with Mrs. Digby for some reason.
Oh, yeah, I had some too.
And that changed. It looked like it changed both their username. It looked like it changed their username.
Uh-oh.
And their password.
Oh, lovely. And everybody's saying, oh, I have some people that are getting in, but some people that are saying school name and school code. Lovely. I know we have one. Let's see. School name, my home. Let me make sure.
Mrs. Bragg, I have a whole bunch from last year that I deleted this morning that have reappeared. So
I
don't know what's going on yet.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to pause this and we'll figure out what's happening. And I'm not going to worry about it the rest of today then. Yes?
Let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a break until 9:30. Those people who are still trying to get into MobiMax,
Just pause.
yeah. Do you want to just throw a pause on that altogether?
I'm throwing a big fat pause on that, but I don't want them necessarily to walk away just yet. I do want them to spend some time on Khan Academy, go ahead and doing their math.
Got it.
And we can give them a 10-minute break at the end of the.
Okay, so you want to go till 9:30 and then break?
What time is it? Let me see.
It is 9:13.
9:13. Oh, or at least 7 minutes. If we get on, give them for 7 minutes, we can start the lesson. Aish. Says under construction. Okay, got you. All right, I'm shutting down the MobiMax idea. And yes, you are going to do some basic division on Khan Academy. So yes, if you would please pause there. I'm going to assign your basic division on Khan Academy. There are 7 questions. I would like for you guys to all do those first. Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. We are going to joinpd.com as usual. Hopefully this is something we can all do. Today's code CZYJQ.
Mr. Hartman, can you screen share?
I thought I had already done that. All right. And screen share coming your way. All right. Is that better?
Yes, thank you. Can you put the screen with the code back up?
Oh my gosh.
It's in the corner too, up there at the top.
Right here. Sorry, it's my first day in distance learning. Okay, take about 30 more seconds. We're gonna get started. Okay, let's get started. So we've been talking a lot about structure in writing and sort of understanding the whole idea, the whole concept of structure is so important to writing, because if we have a structure and we're working from that structure, it allows us to sort of free up some energy to concentrate more on our thoughts, not necessarily how we create images in the reader's minds, and they're actually going to create movement. So when we use strong verbs, it's just going to give the reader something very concrete to latch onto, and it's going to do something that other words can't. So another thing in a writer's toolbox is adjectives. And we know from grades past that adjectives are words that describe nouns. So we're going to take a little, just a brief look at adjectives today, what they are and how to use them. Okay, so by the end of today, we should be able to use adjectives. I'll be able to use adjectives to tell what kind and how many. Okay, so adjectives fulfill a very specific role in our writing. So today we're just going to take a look at one slice of adjectives and how to use them. Okay. So I want you to take a look at this sentence from Patrick McDonald's book, Me, Jane. And I want you to take a look at that sentence, and in the response bar, tell me, what do you notice? What do you notice? And remember, today's topic is adjectives. So as you're looking over this sentence, what do you notice? The toy chimpanzee. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. We are all done with this lesson today because we have some people who are doing anything but appropriate. So actually, we'll go ahead and continue the lesson, but we are not going to show responses, and that's disappointing. That's very disappointing. All right.
Mr. Hartman, can you make sure you screenshot that, please?
Sure, absolutely. All right. Jane had a stuffed, how are these alike and how are they different? So if we go back to this sentence right here. Jane had a stuffed toy chimpanzee named Jubilee. So on your whiteboards, what I want you to do is I want you to find the adjectives in this sentence. So where are they? Where are they? Remember, adjectives are describing or should describe nouns. So on your whiteboards, I want you to write the adjective or adjectives in this particular sentence. Go ahead, I'll give you 60 seconds.
In just a few seconds, you'll get it. We're going to go to Paradoc again. So,
Paradoc?
yeah, whatever it's called.
Literary footsteps.
Yeah, but I want to do this thing first. And so let me do, sorry. Let's share my screen. And let's go there. Okay. Code is IJDGX, joinpd.com. Give you a few minutes to get logged on, then we'll get to it. We're getting there. Only a few more students we're waiting on. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to read a book today called Snapshot. Here's the cover of the book on the right-hand side. Remember, the first things that we do as readers, as good readers, is that we take a survey and we look at it, we see the title, has Snapshot, and then it has a subtitle called The Story of George Eastman by Julia Wall. And then there's this old photograph down below. And so, but it has a picture there, and in the picture, we have a picture of George Eastman. And it has a caption underneath that says, who changed the way that people took photographs. Many of us, even as sixth graders, we have our phones, and our phones have cameras on them. Much of the stuff we're going to talk about was advanced first by this man, George Eastman, okay? Because taking pictures was an evolution. It's not a vocabulary word, but it should be. Evolution means it was a growth in change, okay? It changed over a long time, and we're going to read about some of those changes that took place through this man. We look at the table of contents. We have 3 short chapters and an introduction and then a conclusion. Chapters are called A Pack Horse Load. Chapter 2 is called From Glass to Paper. And chapter 3 is called The Convenient Camera, okay? So if you were going to make a prediction of what this book is about, what might you say in one sentence? Well, in your prediction, I'm going to give you some think time. You better have the name George Eastman in it and the word photography or photographs. Go ahead, make a prediction in your mind. Do it in your head. Okay, now we come to the body of this book. The body starts with an introduction. For the first part, I'm going to read to you. So follow along with me as I read. These days, taking a photograph is easy. Please mute yourself. These days, taking a photograph is easy. Most people use digital cameras. You can look at the photo right away. If you don't like it, you can take another one. Printing digital images is easy too. You can print them at home, or you can take them to a store to print. Today's cameras are 1878. In those days, things were different. Photography took a lot of time and was also expensive. Images were made on heavy glass or metal plates, and they were developed using chemicals in a dark room. They were often blurred, and they could not be printed on paper. Eastman had an inquiring mind. So, inquiring. Here is a strategy we use if we don't know a word. Inquiring. What word would make sense if we substituted, put it in the place of inquiring? Eastman had a what kind of mind? So he spent hours experimenting. Read around the word and put in your word in there and see if it works. Eastman had a questioning mind. So he spent hours experimenting. Inquiring means to question. His work helped to change photography from an expensive and difficult task to an everyday task. We should appreciate George Eastman, I think, for we take many pictures, don't we? Chapter 1, a back horse load. Now, what I want you to do this time, okay, I'm going to share this with you, but I want you also to turn off, make sure that your microphones are off, but I want you to read this out loud to yourself. Okay, I'm not reading it out loud to you. You're going to read it out loud to yourself. Okay, now, I, Mr. Hartman, Ms. Digby, maybe Mrs. Bragg, will be, I'm going to go through and, no, I think just me. I'll do it this time. We'll go through and I'm going to unmute you and I'm going to listen to you read, okay? So make sure that you have your microphone off, but I'll unmute and I'm going to listen to a couple of you read. So I'm going to say go. When I say go, begin reading where it says George Eastman was born in 1854, okay? Ready, begin, go. Read to yourself.
You should be reading out loud to yourself.
We're going to listen in to you.